What do you mean we're waiting for Nigel? Like, what the hell does that mean? Like, I'm chilling.
All right, I got you.
Every time it's like, oh, we're waiting for Nigel. I swear, y'all say that shit. It's like I'm sitting here waiting for the podcast to start. I'm like actually typing shit up. All right, well, where's Nigel at though? Like,
Nigel's like, yeah. So this is gonna be the subject. Let me write out my notes. Let me write out some more of my cliff notes for each subject. Oh yeah, we're just waiting on Nigel. Nigga, I've been waiting on y'all the whole time, bro. Nah, I got us though. Hey yo, I said, hey yo, hey yo, what's going on, everybody? You're checking in right now.
What's going on, everybody? This is the Highly Advised Podcast.
Damn, bitch.
This is the Highly Advised Podcast. I'm sitting here with my friends. We got it's me, Nigel, Spence.
I want to go now.
Wow, and we have a fourth person here today, Gilroy.
What's up? It's Gil.
Yo, what's going on, Gilroy?
I'm good, man. How y'all doing?
Not so bad. Man. How's everybody else doing today?
I can't trip. Go ahead, La.
I was gonna say, man, we doing good, man. We doing really great out here, man. We just finished making a deal. You know what I mean? They dropped that pack off the jet, the private jet, and we was just waiting for you, Nigel. But of course,
if you did make a deal like that and you put that on the podcast, I'd be like, oh, that's on him. Like I can't say anything about that. Put that shit all on the airwaves and everything, like.
Straight off the jet, like goddamn.
Jeez, man, this man told himself better than 6ix9ine.
Spence, how are you?
I can't complain now. I'm looking for this clip I wanted to play because that's exactly what you reminded me of. You remind me of Skip Bayless, man. But all in all, though, I can't complain, bro. I'm good. Same week, different day. So overall, I can't really trip. Though, what's going on with you fellas, though, man?
Not much, man. I can't complain. It's another week doing the same old shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Nigel forgot to mention that I came over 2 days ago.
Oh yeah,
it's a nice dinner.
Yeah, Gilroy was over here cooking, man. It was nice actually.
Got some fried chicken.
Yeah, man. I've been my girlfriend's been putting me on and cooking and shit in the kitchen. So I usually go to Nigel's crib and I'll start making dinner or breakfast for us these days. Feels good. But I fried some chicken, salt and pepper, roasted broccoli with some French fries. Shit was good, man.
Damn, it sounds good. That sounds good, man. Shit. Yo, bro. Nigel ain't trying to give you any of his Zupas Toscano.
Nah, he's about to cook some eggs, but I was like, you ain't got to do all that.
Oh, wow. Nah, I actually ate all that shit from the last weekend, man.
Damn. So Nigel was treating you like it was the Waffle House.
No.
Waffle House.
Nah, he was there.
He
was there for support.
He was giving you Waffle House service. Hey, yo, did y'all check out, because I know there's a lot of stuff going on in music this week. Did you guys check out the West Side Gun album?
Yeah. I actually liked it more than Pray for Paris, like if I'm being honest.
Facts.
Yeah, no, it's not, I'm not going to say it's my album of the year or anything like that so far, but it's definitely a good album. Like I enjoyed it. On the Humbles boy, Stove Guy Cook was on there. He was doing his thing.
Yeah, he was.
Listening to that album, I'm like, yo, Stove Guy Cook should probably be signed to Griselda. Like listening to it, I'm like, yo, fam, like the way he's rapping is like he meshes right in with what they got going on over there. And I think outside of Stove God, I think their new artist from Griselda, the female rapper, she was even on that shit.
Yeah, but she was her verse was kind of mid though. I was expecting for her to be saying some shit, but she was saying basic shit. My ass, my titties is nice, niggas wanna fuck me and blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, she's saying basic shit. She ain't saying nothing crazy.
If it's the same chick that I was listening to on that album, she was decent. Like, she spoke some of the same shit that you hear, but it was like, oh, I see why she signed to Griselda. Why this is a Griselda artist, bro. Like, I think, just like Nigel, though, I do agree that joint is definitely better than Pray for Paris.
Yeah, it is. 100%.
Hands down, without question. Westside Gun smoked this. And on top of it, if you really think about it, and it might be early to say this, because before he dropped this album, we were saying Pray for Paris was a top album, like a top 5 album of the year.
Well, me and you were, but Nigel was saying he didn't even include it. He was like, yeah, it's just Alfredo and Lil B's, unreleased collection, volumes 1 through 4. That's the other one. Yeah.
Damn.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
no,
4
it's in my
volumes?
top five. I think my top five projects right now are fucking Silk Money's project, Alfredo, Fly Guide 2, and then the other two spots. I don't know. I'll probably put Lulu in there somewhere, but I'm not about for the fifth one. I don't even know off the top of my head.
See, to
Probably
me,
Tiana Taylor's album because that I was listening to that earlier this week and I was really enjoying it.
yeah, that's a good ass album too. That's a really good ass album. Like, I don't know where exactly I will put where I'm putting it at the moment because I think I don't know. It's hard for me to give an artist 2 top 5 placements within a year. That's really hard. But I will say this: I think Westside Gun he might be having like when we look back, are we going to compare this to like DMX to some extent?
Oh,
Just
when he had the back-to-back shit.
Yeah, when he put out the 2 albums, 2 platinum albums in 1 year, and they were both like classic albums. Like listening to this album, Pray for Paris, some consider it to be a classic already, right?
Yeah.
Personally, I don't, but it's a really great album. But at the same time, when you listen to this album, it just got even better. So like, are we going to end up putting this album as like this is like a DMX year for him or what?
Man, it's kind of hard, right? Because like when DMX was putting out those albums, DMX was he was one of the prominent artists of the game. You know what I mean? He was one of the faces of the game when he was putting his music out. I'm not saying Westside is not on the same level as DMX was back in the day. You know what I mean? And like we all fuck with Westside Gun, but you know, let's be really honest. You know, his popularity wise is not there. Now, as far as like the music goes, we could say he's having a DMX year just off of music, but he's not even having a DMX year off like the strength of his sales and notoriety of the
So
album.
essentially, like he doesn't have a commercial within him, but he has like
right,
yeah,
right.
I can agree to that. I mean, I think I would still have to give him. I guess for me, I'm going more off of music because numbers wise, he would have to be competing at like a Cole, Kendrick, and Drake type of number to really be in that conversation.
Yeah.
But like, music wise, I think for me, like it's definitely a DMX year for him though.
Yeah, music wise, he killed it with both projects. He killed it.
Yeah, I think it's hard to say that if you are a fan of like Westside Gun and like that type of music, then you have to consider it to be like that type of year for him for sure. I mean, otherwise, like I'm not sure if like the general fan will think so, but I think if you like this, then this is like a great year for you so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Like for definitely any Griselda fan, any Westside Gun fan, especially a Griselda fan. So this shit is like I think this year is just going to be a really great year. I can't wait to see what happens with him because he was talking about like retiring already anyway. So
right. I wonder if it'll make him rethink it.
Well, he said he's going to be doing another album. This time it's going to be his Shady Records debut with the album, which is funny because I thought, yeah, if you look at his Instagram and then when he first announced Fly God 2 was coming out on July 3rd, if you read the caption, he said that he's working on another album, and that was the Shady Records debut.
When he was talking about that, I thought he was talking about this album.
Me too. Because I'm not sure if y'all saw earlier in the week, but he was like, I wonder if anybody at Shady even knows my album's coming out.
No, I didn't. I didn't see that.
Yeah, he said that.
I didn't see that tweet. Yeah,
he seemed a little upset.
Well, if we being real, right, the Shady shit, you could really be like, oh well, I didn't know he was signed to Shady. You know what I mean? If you really think about it, it sound like he independent doing his own thing.
Yeah, but I feel like we should know, like it's like I look at this deal and I'm wondering how does it benefit him, like other than the initial, like, hey, we're gonna put them out and talk about them, like we're gonna talk about them for a little bit, but afterwards, it's like I feel like their focus hasn't been on promoting them. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know Fly God 2 was coming out till this week.
Yeah, I didn't know it was coming out until I went to check the Apple Music and I saw where it was released.
Right.
Like I saw like at 12 o'clock that night. I think I was just checking music and I was like, oh, he dropped the album. Let me listen to it. Like, but I think But at the same time, I think with Shady, I think the benefit for him being on Shady is one, it's such a big label that anything that Eminem co-signs already gets a certain level of respect from his fans. I think from his fan base, like definitely those are ingrained in hip hop. So I think from that perspective, I think that's more likely that's a big reason why, because I think a lot of his success wouldn't be where it is if he was independent at the moment.
Right.
Yeah.
So because it still comes down to exposure, ad dollars. Like, granted, I know he probably more than likely West Side is probably building those relationships, but at the same time, a lot of it comes down to the label reaching out to people in the industry to be like, yo, I need such and such. I need you to put my mans in or whatever.
I listened to the album about like 3 times already, and I think it's great. But the highlight of this past weekend was Pop Smoke's album.
I think Virgil might have gave the best album rollout.
I mean, in the worst way possible. Like, it's not like he did himself any favors with that. I'm not sure if y'all saw the cover, but I mean, like,
that shit was trash.
It was just him on the street, and they're like, "All right, put some little barbed wire in front of him and some like ice." It looks
That's
like
the cover they went
like,
with.
all right, cool.
Oh damn!
No, I think they changed it.
Okay,
They changed. Yeah, they changed it to a black rose.
Oh, okay, so they did change it to that.
Yeah, I think that cover was actually like some of the last pictures Pop Smoke had posted on Instagram before he was killed or whatever. Even then, I'm saying to myself like, yo, Virgil, this is a trash ass cover. Apparently, I don't know if you guys heard, but apparently he stole that idea from an artist.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like, how are you gonna steal some shit and then make it even more trash? You know what I mean? Like, it didn't make much sense to me. I saw that shit. I was kind of like, come on, man. Like, this is how you're gonna do him in his death? Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly. And you saying to yourself, like, come on, fam. Like, the fact that because I think Steven Victor came out and even said Pop Smoke wanted to work with Virgil. For Virgil to look like he only spent like 5 minutes on the shit. Like, Virgil's been in the headlines for a minute now. From the $50 to, I think it was somebody on the West Side Gun album that had said like I'm gonna keep it 2 Virgils. Like,
he was like, let me bring this shit to Canva. Let me put some shit on it. All right, boom.
Man, he didn't even go to Canva. He did that.
$10,000.
Yeah. He probably charged more than that. Like, that shit literally took, I think someone did it in 45 seconds on Photoshop. Literally took 45 seconds to make it on Photoshop. And it looked better. Like,
did y'all listen to the project?
I listened to most of it. I'm just about finished with it already. It's to be honest with you, Pop Smoke probably was going to be a really big artist.
He was. It's sad, man. Like, every time I hear his songs, I'm just like, damn, like, he had like a lot of potential.
Yeah, I didn't even think he was built like that at first, just because of like the type of music he was putting out. And then next thing you know, you start hearing this shit and you start saying like, oh, this motherfucker really knows how to put out really good music.
I think it's sad because I don't think we'll never be able to see how his like career would have transformed, because he wasn't just like, you know, doing that like New York drill stuff. Like, he actually seemed to have rapping talent outside of that as well.
Yeah.
And he was trying to, you know, branch out and do acting stuff. Like, he seemed to have like, you know, a little bit in him to be around for like a decent bit of time. But, you know, unfortunately, we won't ever get to see that.
Yeah, because he probably could have taken down the path of 50 Cent, to be honest. Like, start acting, and then 50 probably is going to give him all the right ideas in terms of like the right directions. So he would have probably would have just been somewhere off in the long run. But it's just a sad situation that makes you wish like, oh, stuff like this would not happen as much in hip hop.
How are y'all feeling about this event coming up this weekend? We got Gnome.
Oh yeah,
coming up, getting ready for these battle raps. I know it's coming on the same night as some other stuff, but I mean, it's gonna be something to tune into. You know what I mean?
I've already set the date, and it's free on caffeine. Yeah, this joint is at 5:00, bro. This joint is at 5:00, and I was thinking, I'm like, fam, we could watch this and then hit 251.
Well, I mean, why don't you run us through the card real quick so we know what we're in store for?
All right,
what's in store for us.
All right, I'm gonna start from the bottom up. So you got starting the battle off, Gnome 10. You starting it off with Jay the Nightwing and versus Fonz. I've never really listened to either or. I think I've seen a couple things with Jada Nightwing, so I might just give it to him. Mike P versus Saga. I'm gonna go. I have to go with Mike P. Mike P is a good up and coming talent. He's probably a questionable person that should be on this card, but he's pretty good talent overall. John Adon versus Ill Will. I can't wait to see this.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. I like that.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if I don't think Ill Will had a battle since 40 Cal, other than like the Instagram battles and shit like that. So so now seeing him come off that 40 Cal battle and going against someone like John Adon, who has already been told by Sue Surf that he's owed a battle. Like Sue Surf's art has came out like months ago and say John is owed a battle. So curious to see that one. Then you got Geechee Gotti versus Averb, which is gonna go crazy.
All right, so you're more familiar with Geechee Gotti than I am. I like Averb, but explain to me, like, why should I be excited for that?
So Geechee Gotti is the two-time. I believe he's the two-time champion of the year, right? Or at least he was. Or I know he was at least champion of the year like last year when he battled Surf. So that he's also been. He was also the person. He actually lost to DNA during that BET rap battle that they did during the BET Awards like last year. He's from the West Coast, so he's like a West Coast rapper, but he's nice as hell. Like he went against Sue Surf already and it didn't work out for him. But he choked. But at the same time, Averb's a lot of people look at Averb as a great value version of Lux, right?
Damn, all right.
Yeah, because his style, he changed his style to the point when he became like vegan verb, like he changed his style more to suit like this loaded Lux persona. And it's cool. I think he's really talented, but I don't know how well it's gonna go over against Geechee Gotti because Geechee Gotti's still on the way up. Like he's on his way up out of this new generation. So I have to go with Geechee. I'm gonna have to go with Geechee Gotti because he's gonna be able to bring that intensity. But Averb is no slouch at the end of the day. Then you got Daylight versus Tay Rock.
Oh man,
that's gonna be a crazy battle.
Look, man.
Listen, bro, if Tay Rock comes prepared, it might not. It's because a lot of people got Daylight just winning this with ease, right? But I think Tay Rock may win this battle if he comes if he comes prepared. Tay Rock can either win this battle or he can make this a debatable. Because Tay Rock is actually better than what a lot of people realize. He's nice, but he doesn't get pushed in a lot of rounds. Like a lot of battles that he's battled like he hasn't battled anybody that's like that I think will push him more of. I think it's gonna be interesting to see what's gonna happen with that.
Me personally, like I think Daylight will win, but I think it's gonna be a good showing from Tay Rock. Like at the least, like it's gonna be something that might be debatable.
Yeah, I mean Tay Rock's no slouch, man. He's definitely gonna give it to him, but I don't know how well it's going to translate over, man, because the biggest downside in this battle for Tay Rock is like for Gnome 10 because all the battles that are happening now, they're in fanless areas, right? So they just put up like a piece of paper or some shit like a solid color background and just record it.
Right.
So it's recorded in a studio. And Tay Rock, one of the biggest advantages Tay Rock has is his energy. Like sometimes he puts out bars that aren't like the craziest, but they have the capability of getting the crowd riled up, which just builds that hype at that moment. And some of his shit is just the way he's able to punch and hit. So it's gonna be a close one. If Tay Rock comes correct and he's prepared to actually battle someone, I think he can make this a close battle. But off top, I have to give it to Daylight. Actually, fuck that. I'm gonna go with Tay Rock. I got confidence Tay Rock might actually, because Tay Rock's always been one of my favorite battle rappers. So
right,
I'll be happy if Tay Rock wins. I'm gonna talk my shit. If Tay Rock loses, is not like anything surprising. But I think Tay Rock is really nice when he's pushed to that limit. And I think someone like Daylight and someone like Daylight for one, and then two, being stuck in quarantine for the past 3 months, like 3 to 4 months, it probably it's going to push his pen even more. So
why didn't he push his pen when Pat stayed 30 though? It made him cry.
Pat stayed never 30 them for one.
He made him cry on stage.
Here you go. You really hate this guy, man. Jesus.
I don't hate Tay-Rock.
Listen, Tay-Rock is about to battle Daylight. Who's Pat Stay battling?
All I'm saying, man, is he made Pat Stay cry on stage, and he got and Pat Stay 30'd him.
Where is Pat Stay today, man?
I don't know. I really don't know. You would have to tell me, but I just remember seeing that video on the URL channel when he made him cry on stage, and I was just like, "Damn, bro, he's going outside."
I feel like I don't know. Tay-Rock might have won that one, man. There's no way I'm just gonna easily say Pat Stay 30'd somebody. Pat Stay not 30. It's rare Pat Stay 30 in a nigga, man.
I'm just saying.
You ain't saying shit though, so.
You're saying I ain't saying shit, but you won't, combat the fact that he made that nigga cry on stage. Made him wipe his tears, start sniffling and shit like that. Don't be talking like that, dog.
Man, it's battle rap, bro. It's like wrestling, my nigga. What are you talking about?
So
on top of it.
So it's fake tears. It was the weed smoke, huh?
Yup. The weed smoke, man. That shit'll burn your eyes, bro. I don't know what you talking about.
Jesus, man.
Nah, like that shit'll burn your eyes. Like,
well, look. I mean, like, if we're gonna talk about people going against each other, we might as well bring up this act. Did I miss something from the card?
Yeah, it's one last battle.
Oh shit.
The last battle, the final battle, the battle that everybody's been waiting for is Loaded Lux versus Sue Surf.
Oh, okay.
And that is gonna literally, anybody that's listening, if you're an MMA fan, this would have been like seeing John Jones fight Anderson Silva in his prime. This would have been like watching Mike Tyson fight, like, granted Mike Tyson's coming back, but prime Mike Tyson fighting like one of your best fighters now, or Evander Holyfield, or like this is like the match of all matches. Miles
scratching his head in complete disappointment. Like, he's just like, nah, I disagree with this shit.
I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything.
You didn't have to say anything. That's the thing. It was written all over your face. Like,
I didn't say that, bro.
All right. I'm just saying,
bro. Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Yeah, shouts out to Sue Surf and Loaded Lux. You know what I mean?
You don't even know who either one is.
I do. I do. We just talked about Sue Surf for a minute.
I'm gonna put it like this: Surf is the top dog of this era, right? And Loaded Lux, the top dog of the last era, the Smack era. The Smack era is Murder Mook and Lux, and this era is the URL era is Sue Surf. So just seeing them two right there in themselves is going to be a crazy battle. Cause I'm going with Surf. I gotta go with Surf because that's who I came in with. But Lux is nice, and Lux is no slouch. And if Lux, I'll put it like this: if Lux comes battling like he did in the third round when it was Loaded Hollows versus Gun Cake, it's going to be a long night for Surf. It's going to be a long night for Surf. But I think I feel like Lux is going to be on his preaching shit, and I think that's not going. Lux should know by now, and that doesn't always win the fight for him. So, got to go with Sue Surf on this one.
If we're going to talk about people going against each other, I mean, why don't we talk about Academics and Freddie Gibbs,
Academics. You saw where he got suspended, right?
Yeah, man, he got suspended because he was talking too much shit. Well, so from what I hear, supposedly, yeah. So from the beginning, I guess, like earlier in the week, Freddie Gibbs was on a podcast and he had mentioned that he said that Young Jeezy he felt was musically irrelevant. Right. And DJ Academics heard that and he said, well, if Young Jeezy is irrelevant, then you're definitely irrelevant musically.
But see,
hold on, let me explain. Like, Jesus.
About to shoot the clip, right?
He was so ready. So like So apparently, Freddie Gibbs didn't like that. You know, he said a couple things about academics, and academics, I guess, was waiting to quote unquote shit on a rapper and say how much money he had.
Nah, let's be direct at what Freddie Gibbs said. Freddie Gibbs said, "I'll give, I think it was $5,000 or $10,000 to any woman that can say any bad chick that said they ever slept with academics." And next thing you know, he went off the rails.
Yeah, academics had 45 minutes to an hour talking about Freddie Gibbs. Shit's hilarious.
But the thing about it though, right, with the Tubby man, that the Tubby man, right, he started a whole conflict, right? Because if you watch that interview with Bootleg Kev and Freddie Gibbs, Bootleg Kev was the one who proposed the question and started talking about the whole Jeezy shit. So it wasn't like the nigga just came out anywhere and be like, oh yeah, he's just irrelevant on some hate and shit. He was, it was like the topic of the conversation. So of course they brought it up on the everyday struggle shit on the complex. So the Tubby man, he then he just started shitting on him. Like, oh, he's really irrelevant. Da 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 da. Just out of nowhere, bro. Like just on real hate and shit. And then when Freddie said what he said, of course he got emotional and he started getting his feelings and shit like that, starting to sweat up in his palms because the nigga he can't combat that. It's true, like right. No bad bitch ever fucked with academics. The only bitch I really fucked with that anybody would know was the one bitch I was getting. Yeah, the one I was just getting ran down by. Your even your cousins probably ran down on her. And the Tubby man, he's a character, man. That shit was just that was so stupid because it was just kind of like you really coming off as a hater. And when he was like, "Oh, put my tax returns up against your tax return," I'm like, the nigga Freddie don't have to do that to prove anything. You just saying that shit because you salty as fuck of what he said about you.
My thing is this, right? Like, I honestly don't give a fuck how much money academics has or Freddie Gibbs has. If you're fucking corny without money, you're gonna be corny with it. So it's like that's all that was shown in that video to me. It's like it's just any time that you got to come back and just be like, oh man, I've been waiting to shit on one of these rappers. Like nobody gives a fuck, man. Like it's shit's funny, like he's just a corny dude and it's something that we can just all make fun of. But he took that shit very personally. Slamming his desk, everything, getting all mad, raising his voice and shit.
He even said my best friends, but he even said like fuck Chrissy Teigen, fuck John Legend's wife. Like, yeah.
He was like Chrissy Teigen can suck a dick, and if John Legend don't like it, he can suck a dick too.
Yeah, he was talking spicy. He definitely came out and said about Freddie Gibbs' kids.
Yeah.
Chrissy Teigen. I think did he say something about T.I.? I don't think it was T.I. He said something about someone else also. Like he was letting his nuts hang for that whole Twitch rant, bro.
Well, my question to y'all is this, and I want to start off with you, Gilroy. Like, is he right? Like, and I already know how I feel about it. I'll wait till the end. But do you think he's right about what he said about Freddie Gibbs being irrelevant?
Nah, man. I mean, you just can't base it down to just, I make more money than you or this, that, and the other. It's like if Freddie Gibbs can, go to a show and fans show up type shit, he already has his viability and shit. But it just can't boil down to just like, I make more money than you or I'm more relevant than you as a interviewer than a musician or something like that. You just can't compare those two bases. But no, I think as of right now, I think Freddie Gibbs is that dude, like just in general as well. And what he said about what you said, Jeezy. Yeah. I mean, I don't really ever hear anybody, normally talk about like, hey man, I can't wait for that new Jeezy album to drop. But if he drops a new album, people will listen to it. They might be excited for it. So I can understand.
He dropped the album this year, right?
Nah, nigga, I'm not informed like that.
Yeah. But don't feel bad. Nobody knew.
That's what I'm saying. It's kind of like I'm sure if you listen to it, you might, it's not bad. But I didn't know he just dropped this shit out of nowhere, or there was no, like, unless you follow him on Instagram or Twitter, like, there was no promotion for it. Like, it's just, It just happened. Like, I don't think Freddie Gibbs came off probably as, like, an asshole in this sense or anything like that, but more so academics. You say you let nuts hang for 45 minutes to an hour to rant on somebody and just throw other people under the bus. Like, that's some bitch nigga shit.
It is.
To me, it's weird. Freddie Gibbs dropped what is going to be one of the best projects of the year so far. And it's like, to me, it's like you can't say that somebody's irrelevant like that. I think that I mean, if you want to say that album sales are the only things that matter, then I'm sure there's people who aren't in that cycle of putting out music normally that can sell more than Freddie Gibbs. That's a fact, and it just is what it is.
Look at Smoke Perp, right? We was just clowning a nigga the other day. You know, he holds the record of flop right now, and
Right.
academics covers that nigga.
Right. And it's just one of those things where it's like, you know, album sales aren't the only thing that speak to relevancy. And I'm pretty sure that everybody knows that. But he's a numbers guy and he's like obsessed with the numbers. So he'll say that.
Because of 6ix9ine. He's so invested in the number, but he's only invested in the numbers when it comes to him. He doesn't give a fuck about like the reality of numbers or whatever. Only him. And because of that, and Six, you know, academics brought out his best, you know, knee pads and shit like that. For 6ix9ine, he gained some knowledge, you know, while he was fucking giving him the best top that he ever had. And now he's all about the fucking numbers and shit like that. And it's just so, like, I think Freddie Gibbs was 100% right? Musically, Young Jeezy is irrelevant. You know, like Gilroy said, nobody was checking for the nigga. When his album dropped, nobody really knew about that unless you're a diehard Jeezy fan or some shit like that. And it's kind of like, it's not a knock on Young Jeezy, but his time is over, right? The nigga Jeezy, he's doing other things and shit now with his money. He's about to get married to that one chick on that TV talk show, the Asian chick. You know what I mean? So Jeezy, he's having a good fucking post-rap career life right now. And Gibbs was just presented a question, and he didn't say the nigga was irrelevant entirely. He said he was just irrelevant musically. And if fucking academics, you know, with the thumb up his ass, and he was like, oh well, you know, if he's fucking irrelevant, Freddie Gibbs is really irrelevant. You know what I mean? And then when Freddie Gibbs called him out on it, oh well, I'm gonna put my tax returns against your tax returns. Oh well, since you didn't do that, that means I got more money than you. Oh, you know what I mean? Like that, he has Tubby Man vibes. Like the guy is just such a man. He's the type
Tubby Man vibes. Yeah.
That's the name of this episode.
Yeah, Tubby Man vibes.
Tubby Man vibes. That's sick.
My God.
He's become so fucking corny, bro. It's just like he took an L with that one, and the shit with Meek. I was just like, bro, like Meek makes some good points, but Meek is also shooting himself in the foot because it's like other niggas is calling Meek out, and he's not going at them niggas, but he's going against the Tubby Man, who all of us could beat academics up. Like let's be real.
But at the same time, when it comes to like the whole thing with Quilly, right? Yeah. This is like I've been a fan of Meek since like 2007, 2006, right?
Okay.
Since MySpace, like that issue with like Quilly Mills and all of that. That's like some old beef that's been around before Meek ever became hot, like to the world, right?
Right.
So like I think to some extent, definitely with the type of shit Meek's on, and they both from Philly at the end of the day. I think the way Meek moves for one, there's no need to even responding back to it. It's like
exactly
like yo, you're dissing me in my city. We from the same city. We gonna run it. Philly's not that big in all reality. And that's my thing, like with the whole Meek thing. It's like there's no need for Meek to respond to Quilly. But when it comes to academics, like he really shouldn't respond to academics either, because him and academics have had this whole issue going on since like I think it was before the Quentin Miller situation. So it really was no reason to come at him, or to come at academics. But I think at the same time, like Meek sometimes lets the press or outside things get to him a little bit too much, where he feels the need to respond. Just like when you saw that reaction with him and Trey Songz, that interaction they were having at one time. Yeah. But like fucking like academics overall, like academics, when I watched that shit, all I could say was, yo, this shows you what happens when you let a corny person get money. Like, cause I don't know if y'all saw, but he had recently just bought a $2 million home.
Right. And see, here's my thing about this whole thing, right? Like, just like you said, there's no point in really giving this shit any mind if you're Freddie Gibbs or Meek, for that example. I mean, like, it's just he's so worried about something that they're not concerned about, being the numbers. Like, I mean, of course, I'm assuming they want good numbers, but at the same point in time, like that is his sole focus. If you don't have good numbers, then you are da 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 da, so on and so forth.
I mean, but it was smart for Freddie Gibbs to respond to it, though.
It's smart. It's smart for Freddie Gibbs to
Spence.
respond. Yeah, it's smart for Freddie Gibbs to respond because it's a good look for Freddie Gibbs. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, because it puts more eyes on him. But like somebody like Meek, for example, he doesn't need that. And it's just like, why do you need to pay attention to that corny side of things? Just the same thing as the dude that academics loves to support. We all know what he's about. We don't really need to put any more light on him than need be because it's not worth it.
I mean, but he took, honestly, academics, he really took from his man's playbook. Like,
yeah, of course he did.
Like when you saw that shit, I was like, when he started talking like Swiss Beats, like, yo, yeah, Chrissy Teigen can suck a dick, and you know, if her mans don't like it, so what? I'm like, come on, bro. We know, just like when we watch Young Chop, like, because it's the internet, one, and two, you know, you don't have to worry about seeing anybody in the street at the end of the day.
Bingo. That's what that shit is. His ass is so fucking stuck in the house. That's why he's the Tubby man, right? That his ass is so stuck in the fucking house that, you know, you can't imagine the nigga even just going out. The only time he's really going out is because his complex is like, hey, look, you know, we need you to come in to do your job. But outside of that, nigga's sitting at home. He's on Twitch all day, you know, thumbing his ass. The only time he steps out the fucking crib is when he's going to go ahead and put his knee pads on to go top off the guy that he fell in love with. Like, the guy, man, like, the guy,
he's just not about that life.
Yeah,
he's just not about it.
He's talking tough, and I don't get that. Like, dude, you's not a tough guy, bro. You are not. You're not no street nigga. You're not, man. Damn the street nigga shit. You just not you're not about that. He's the sole definition of what people say of a keyboard warrior. That's what that nigga is, 100%. And
facts.
And I just feel like that shit, he was just mad corny for that shit. And that's all I got to say about the Tubby man.
I ain't gonna hold you though, right?
Jesus.
Like, I feel like you still got some steam, but like,
yeah, I'm leaving all that shit out. I'm
please
not taking any of that shit out.
Please do. That's the clips that we run it next week.
Yeah, you're right. that's the preview right there.
Yeah. The one thing, like the one thing I'll say about academics is, because they suspended him from everything. Like, he's not allowed to be on Complex. He got suspended from Complex. He got suspended from Twitch. Yeah. He got suspended from something else that he had going on. So literally the only thing he has right now is his own platform. And
YouTube and Twitter?
Yeah, that's it. That's the only thing that he has access to right now. And honestly, I think we might get a second run of who he was, to be honest with you, of like why we all fell for who he once was. Because I don't know if y'all saw, like, this is why I'm giving him some credit, because I think he was cornering the whole shit with Freddie Gibbs, but he actually put out a conversation him and Tory recorded, where I guess Tory was breaking down like the music industry, and like just how exactly, like he was breaking it down, like what the label does when they sign an artist, the type of percentage the person gets, all like literally the breaking down of how the contract works, the splits, so on and so forth. So I think honestly, because the way academics is running around, he run around like he did this all by himself and no one helped him along the way.
Yeah.
And he might fuck around and just start putting that type of content out. And if he puts that type of content out, y'all can say what y'all want, but y'all gonna watch this shit at the end of the day.
Yeah, I feel like if you do, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
I was about to say, if you do something like that, it's like, in a sense, you become untouchable, because you know the only person you answer to is yourself. So I can respect that, because it's like, you know, you get all your platforms pulled. Yeah, it seems like a punishment. But if you're true to yourself, whether he went off on this crazy ass rant and sounded dumb and shit or not, like at least he did it for himself and not for anybody else. But then, you know, he could be like that weird ass dude with like looking for the numbers. Like as soon as he uploaded it, he's just refreshing his page, thinking that like, oh man, this might give you some numbers for my other platforms, like I said. And then, you know, he had to face those repercussions. But at the end of the day, he did what he had to do in his own sense of, either to get recognition for himself or for his platforms. But like I said, if you do some shit like that, like I just went off on this crazy ass rant, posted on YouTube, and I said, I don't give a fuck about seeing this shit on Spotify or da 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 da. I don't care if I get pulled from it. At least he has that to his name, so I can respect that at the end of the day.
See, the thing is for me, like me personally, I didn't mind academics content like prior to him being like so much on the dude he loves to support. Like it was just like, who wants to see that 7 times a week, 24 hours a day? You know what I mean? Like nobody wants to see all that. So I mean, if he can get back to what he was prior to that, then I'm down for it.
Yeah. I mean, I think it won't be hard for him to get back to that, only because it, to some extent, it looks like it's a lot. Like it looks like he's so wrapped into 6ix9ine, but I think to some extent, I think eventually when it's like, okay, you have to actually just worry about yourself and nobody else. I think that's when it becomes a different subject for him, where he can just focus solely on like just putting out good content. Because once he starts putting out good content, we're all gonna grow to be fans of him again. That's just the reality of it all.
But will he ever do that? Is the question, right? Will he ever? Because his page is damn near a 6ix9ine page, where every time he drops something, you already know we're gonna get at least 3 to 5 posts in a day about that shit. So like, will the Tubby man, will he finally decide to be like, hey, look, I'm gonna get back to what people was actually fucking with me for? I
think
don't
so.
know, man. I don't know, man. He loves his knees being scraped right now. He loves busting out his knee pads. So
Jesus, you really hate this guy. Like,
are they like boys? I don't know this whole 6ix9ine academic shit. Like, do they hang out, or he just like reports on too much?
They hang out. They hang out and shit. Like academics, like they've been on live with each other. They've like hung, like they actually hang out in person and shit. Even right now with all that goes on and shit. So
okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just put it like this before we move on. Like, I'll just say this when it comes to it. I think academics. It is to be questioned if academics can make it into who he once was and what people loved him for. But I do think if he is, suspended from everything that he's doing and he just says, fuck it, I'm going to just keep doing my own shit, like on some Star and Buck Wild shit, I think he'll be successful, because now all those subjects that he would cover day in and day out on those other platforms are solely going to be funneled through like his own YouTube page. So who knows? I mean, I think there's a lot to be said and a lot to be seen, but I definitely would advise someone to go to AA. That's all I'll
Okay.
Real shit. Motherfucker be drunk the whole time.
There's another AA I know you want to talk about too. So I mean, you might as well,
Yeah. How is it July, but we're already in August? Like, Jada Pinkett really needs to speak to us on that, because I don't know if y'all saw, but y'all heard about the August Alsina shit, man. Fucking motherfucker came out on Angela Yee interview and said Will Smith gave his blessings that August could be in a quote unquote non-physical relationship with Jada Pinkett Smith.
So you're not down for that, Spence?
That sounds like cap. That sounds like
What is that?
Yeah.
Physical relationship? What?
Like, yeah, bro. What?
Your best friend?
Yeah, that's exactly what he making it sound like.
For real.
It's like, yeah, Will
gotta line yourself up for when Will Smith's leaving. It's like, oh, fucking finally I get my chance.
Yeah. It's like, oh yeah. Oh, hey, Will. So I'm gonna just take Jada out for a little
Mr.
bit.
Smith. You call him Mr. Smith.
I'll punch that motherfucker in the mouth, man. Never mind.
The way he said it sounded crazy though, because it's like, what do you mean gave you permission to be in a relationship? Like
his
no.
wife.
Like, yeah, like no, like that doesn't we're not doing that.
I mean, but there's always been rumor that they were swingers though.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, it's like this, right? For me. You're gonna get down how you're gonna get down. And if you want to have an open relationship, you're gonna have an open relationship. If you're into that, that's fine. but it does not seem like that's what was going on. Apparently, according to Jada Pinkett, at least that's what I will say. But I mean,
what did she say?
I mean, supposedly they're coming out and denying all of it and saying as what's happening, and I guess she's going to be on a Red Table Talk soon, talking about it as well. Now, I mean, maybe they had a thing. Maybe they had a thing, and if they did, they did. And if Will Smith's cool with people, fucking his wife, then it is what it is.
I mean, but it was rumored before that he was smashing her, like years ago. But see, that's the thing, because I think when he put out an album like years ago, it was rumored that he was smashing her, and now that he's putting out another album, he tries to confirm it. So it could be a press run, to be honest with you. It could be all just part of a rollout. And I put it like this: if Will Smith puts out a movie, if Will Smith starts saying, "Oh, I'm putting out a movie in the next month on Netflix," this was a promo run at the end of the day.
£7 too.
Ooh,
reincarnated.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, so we actually didn't bury him and give off his organs. We actually just burned the body. We've been harvesting his organs for the past 10 years. So yeah, so so this is part 2.
We actually need more of his organs, though.
Yeah, there's actually pigs that have human organs in them.
So what, they were storing Will Smith's organs inside the pig, and that's how they're gonna come back for £7 too?
Hey, bro, maybe his heart is inside of a pig, bro.
Oh shit, that's crazy.
Yeah, I think it's called like chimia or some shit like that. Like, all jokes aside, they actually harvest pigs with human organs for transplants and shit.
That sounds insane.
Yeah.
Lit.
Of course you would. That's the best type of bacon, ain't it?
No, I don't eat pork no more, bro.
But nah, like, I think the August shit though, that August shit is kind of crazy, bro. Like, I really don't know how he got to a point where he felt comfortable saying that shit. Like, you could tell, like, she must got that Erykah Badu box.
Here's my thing, right? Like,
he said he'll die. He's willing to die, knowing that he gave his all to someone already. Me being Jada Smith, being Jada Pinkett Smith.
But it's like, like if they did that, if it did happen or whatever the way he says it does or did, okay, cool. But why'd you have to go on an interview and put that out for everybody to, like, if I'm assuming they like to be private about what they do, because we don't know if they actually do it or not. So why would you go on an interview and think that they'd be okay with that?
Well, go ahead.
Celebrities. I was gonna say celebrities, bro. That niggas. I'll never understand their world of shit, bro. They just do weird shit. Weird. It's just weird. Let's be real about it. It's fucking weird.
I mean, artists have artists have like these weird ass lives anyway, bro, where they fuck around and they like they have like these weird orgies and all that type of stuff. Like, hell, look, like, I know we didn't even put it up on the topics, but like, you look at Epstein, right?
Oh God.
Like, his girlfriend just got arrested. His long-term girlfriend got arrested because they believe she had some dealings with like this whole sex child trafficking shit. Like, a lot of those people have like weird lives outside, and like, even like Dave Chappelle did a comedy special on one of those actors. I think it was the House of Cards guy,
Kevin Spacey.
Kevin Spacey, and I think Dave Chappelle did a comedy sketch on it in one of his specials about Spacey messing with, like, going to underage parties with like 14-year-old boys and shit like that. But like, they got like these weird lives. Like, they have like these little weird. They're just like any other human being with these weird ass nuances to their lives, bro. Like, this shit is weird.
I was just gonna say, speaking of weird shit, bro, like, we might have a third candidate for 2020, bro.
Kanye.
Mr. Ye.
Yeah, Mr. Ye.
Easy for president, man. He about to make a landslide.
My thing is this, right? What are his views on the United States? How does he plan to bring us into a new era and make things better for us?
He's gonna make some new Yeezys.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Red, white, and blue, baby.
Yeah.
Octobers.
The Octobers, there we go. And Elon Musk is his running mate.
That would be
That'd
wild.
be that'd be wild. I would say like I'd look
That'd
into
be
it.
wild.
What are your policies, man?
Yo, what if they just said, "Yo, we giving everybody a fresh pair of Yeezys and a Tesla"? If you vote for me, what would you vote for them if they said, "I give you a pair of Yeezy, I'm gonna give you a pair of Yeezy season 1 apparel, right, or whatever the new Yeezy season is. I'm gonna give you some Yeezy season apparel, and we're gonna give you a brand new Tesla."
I'll do this off the strength off the Tesla.
Yeah, I'm about to say fuck the shoes.
Have you been inside a Tesla before?
Tesla, man.
Yo, those Teslas are nice as hell, man. Like,
That's my next car. That's
Jesus.
the future.
Yo, Kanye, you know how much Kanye would make. Honestly, Kanye would land a deal crazy. I feel like mad people would just sell. I would sell the Tesla. I would sell all of that shit. Like I would vote and then just sell all of that shit and be like, oh word, let me go buy a Tesla shop. So you come get your nah, deadass. Everybody gonna vote for Kanye, so they gonna get the Tesla. I'm gonna sell my Tesla. I'm gonna have the mechanic shop, the Tesla mechanic shop. So all y'all motherfuckers gotta pay me to get y'all car fixed, and then I'll be
that's smart because you now you're stretching out the money. You know,
yeah. Black owned business too, baby. Like
yeah.
I'm telling motherfuckers, oh nah, Jack, that's about 400 right there. That's 400. It's like, oh, I just need to get the oil change. Motherfucker, you got $600, man. Say where else you gonna go? You can't go nowhere. What you gonna get your uncle to fix it? He don't know how to touch this. This is an AI car, bro.
Well, they're saying Donald Trump might drop out.
I hope so, man.
That's the rumor. The rumor is that Donald Trump might be dropping out of the race.
How could he not? Like,
they said that
Christ, man, this presidency's been terrible.
They said if he thinks that he's gonna lose and can't win at all, then he's gone. But they also said that he has a plan to stay in office if they try and get him out as well.
Hold on, what?
These are the rumors that are coming out, man.
I don't know. What type of plan does he have?
I don't know.
Fam, I've said this before. I wouldn't, and I say this with all jokes aside, like I wouldn't be surprised if he figured out a way to say, "Oh, I get unlimited terms." Like I wouldn't be surprised, but at the same time, it's like, how in the hell are you going to get? How do you lose and tell people, no, I'm not leaving?
War. If he declared, I might not be saying the proper term, but if he's basically like declaring like another world war, that would halt all that shit, and he get to extend his time.
I mean, I thought because of quarantine that shit was going to play a factor.
I mean, it could, but I mean, as of right now, I think everything is as normal as it can be. You know what I mean?
That's probably why he's trying to get this country back open. Honestly,
probably.
Have you guys seen the his America First rally T-shirts that look real resemblance to like the old Nazi pride type of flag type shit?
Yeah, with the eagle on it. Yeah, I saw that shit.
Nah,
like this shit right here.
Oh shit!
Oh wow!
Oh shit!
Yeah,
oh wow!
Like, yo, get this dude out of fucking office. How are you letting this shit slide?
Yeah.
At this point, it's like,
damn, what the?
It's too much.
Yeah. It's literally
too much.
I'm exhausted from being angry at this dude all the time, man.
I mean, to be honest with you, I don't even be angry anymore. It's just, to me, I just look at it like, okay, like it's just, like I've said this before in other episodes. We just live in a TV show right now.
Yeah,
I've been thinking that.
Yeah, bro,
it's a simulation, man.
It's got to be. Like Joe Rogan might really know what he was talking about this whole time.
Something.
Yeah,
because this shit that, like, bro, this, no lie, this shit really feels like a simulation. And you said to yourself, fam, like, we're literally going back in time. Like,
it's like what is the next crazy thing that's gonna happen is like the way I feel, because it's just so much shit. It's like, come on, man, like this shit can't get any worse. You know what I mean? And then it's like, nope, oh, like parallel universe. Oh, okay, like we're going through another, like, I was thinking about what they're going to call this movement that's going on, like the social injustice movement, probably is what it's going to be called.
Probably Black Lives Matter movement.
Black Lives Matter movement. Like it's just a lot going on at once, and it's getting hard to keep up with for real.
You know what kind of, and we had talked about this before. You know what kind of like will make people blind to all of that shit?
What's that?
Fucking sports.
Yeah.
Fucking sports.
Yeah, and fucking the NBA, and we had a whole debate about this shit. Me and Lau did like a couple episodes ago. I think it was like 13 or 12, but fucking they're deciding to open back up the NBA, which I was on the side of keeping the NBA of players protesting it for right now, but apparently the NBA is restarted. They've made plans to restart, right?
Yeah,
July 30th.
Yep.
So like, oh shit, that's like
It's
a
coming
couple
up.
weeks from now.
Yeah, it's right around the corner.
Yeah, and the first game back is going to be Lakers and Clippers, so it's going to be like a lot of people are definitely going to be tuning in, and especially since you got LeBron, Anthony Davis. You know, they're not sitting out; they're actually going to play. Kawhi and Paul George, they're actually going to play. So it might do some numbers on the ratings that night for that game.
It for sure is.
I was gonna say, and it's a play-in type of format. So what they're gonna do is like 4 or 5 days. They're gonna try to give a chance to the people who aren't seeded to get eighth seed. And then I think they're gonna start the playoffs in August and try to end them in August too, to have the final start.
That's gonna be crazy to some extent. Like having all that shit like back to back, and then you still have like the season coming up. I heard the commissioner was talking about possibly postponing it because of telling players they have to learn not to curse and stuff like that. Like,
what?
I guess because they
I was
didn't
thinking
want
that because I was like, you know, if it's going to be super quiet in there, it's like we're going to hear curse words and just crazy absurdities. So I was like, are they going to use like audio from the audience to make it seem lively or something like that, or maybe have some music in the background? Because if not, it's going to be a lot of what the fucks and shits and goddamn. I'm all for it.
I want to see
I
that
am for it, but like, it's like it will be like cringy sometimes. Like, oh, this dude's really fucking mad. And all that.
I think that shit would be pretty dope. Honestly, like I want to hear some of the trash talk
from Disney. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah. I mean, you remember when the NFL used to play clips of like NFL players like talking trash to each other and shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like this, I think. To be honest with you, I think Nowitzki could probably say, "Yo, we don't have to have fans anymore. Like we could put this on pay-per-view. We can make this like because I wouldn't be surprised if people would be willing to pay through a paywall, go through a paywall just so they can get like the unedited version. Imagine hearing LeBron like cussing out his teammates because they're losing. Like that would be wild. That'd be like some wild shit.
I wouldn't pay for it. I'm not paying for it. I'm just gonna watch that censorship. Like
facts. I'll watch that shit on YouTube. I'll wait till
yeah.
Say, yo, listen, man, when you got the unedited version, put that give me the torrent to that shit, man.
Wow.
Real shit. Like I think it's gonna be I do think it's gonna be entertaining. Like I said, I've already vocalized how I'm not big for the NBA restarting, but I think it's gonna be interesting for the sport, being that like there's no ifs, ands, or buts around it at this point.
I like the fact that with the NBA players as individuals, they do have concerns about restarting the season as well, with this whole Black Lives Matter, because some are nervous that, as you said, and as I'm sure I talked to Nigel about it a few times, that now that the malls are reopening, people going back to beaches, now that your mentals are busy doing other things, you're not going to have enough mental time to, also want to focus on Black Lives Matter unless you see it like on Facebook or social media posting. So with the NBA players having these concerns, it makes me feel good knowing that all right, maybe there's some steps that can be taken to raise social awareness within the league as well. Just from watching sports, maybe there's commercials they can air, or instead of saying like James or Leonard, maybe George Floyd or something like that, Black Lives Matter, a patch, just something that as we watch the fucking the games, we're still aware, or that we could just notice the shit still going on. So with LeBron James also being one of those people who airs it out, like, hey, this is not right. That's a big platform for him as well. Like that's the guy still So it's good to see the guy stepping up and trying to make a change as well within the league. So we'll see. I'm excited for it, but I'm also nervous still.
Right.
Yeah. I'm nervous for it, but I think I would love to. It'd be dope if it's never gonna happen. LeBron James should like cut all his hair off, right?
He's growing that fro out. You see that shit, man? That thing's growing.
Yeah, that shit
Jesus, man.
looks wild.
At this point, I'm like, is he still bald? Like, is that?
Yo, he turned into Kimbo Slice.
Wow.
And the back of his head is still looking crazy, right?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say crazy, but definitely you can tell like it's
right.
done his time.
Yeah, he should
just
just
let
cut
it
all
go.
his hair off, bro.
Yeah,
He should cut all his hair off and just get a Black Lives Matter tattoo, the BLM tattoo.
Damn. It's that BLM like written down the middle of his head.
No,
Yeah.
the whole skull.
that'd be great.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
I mean, like, back off of what Gilbert was saying, I think it's a good opportunity for these players to try to bring awareness as the games are going on or whatever like that. You know what I mean? And I understand that there's going to be people like Spence and others that their view is like, hey, look, this is more a distraction. It shouldn't be. And that's fair. I don't want to combat them because, you know, at the end of the day, we all support the same thing, which is hey, you know, us black people need more equality in this motherfucking country, let alone the world. With that being said, there's players that are I feel like they're just trying to make the right choice with basketball coming back and stuff like that. And some players believe that they can make an impact or bring awareness to things. Like, for example, the 5-star recruit out of high school, you know, he chose to go to Howard University over like UCLA. He's trying to bring that trend of like, hey, black athletes, instead of going to Division I schools, come to HBCUs. And I support that 100%. You know what I mean? Now take attention, because let's be real, right? March Madness is amazing, but like 80% of the college teams are from top black athletes, right?
Right.
If you look at the NBA fucking draft, right? The top 10 are always black people, black athletes. You know, there might be a draft year where you're going to get one white athlete. Let me not say white, right? I'm not trying to sound like prejudiced or racist because that's definitely not the case. But one Caucasian athlete, right? Whether he's from Europe or he's from America or whatever like that. And so I think it's good for what's the gentleman's name? Marcor or Maker or whatever. Maker.
Yeah. His name's Maker, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
So I think it's cool that, you know, he's like, look, I know a lot of eyeballs are on me on this basketball game, so let me bring it to a historical black college, and you know what I mean, and have other 4-star, 5-star recruits start playing these HBCUs and the D1 schools. You know, they might not falter right away, but over time, as years are going by, it's going to become a norm where black athletes are playing for historical black colleges. You know what I mean? And when it comes to like NFL and NBA, hell, even Major League Baseball, right? Because they're still a factor too. They're going to be now getting kids out of HBCUs instead of just the D1 schools. I thought that was pretty cool that young guy did that, you know?
It's definitely a change, man. Like it's going to be interesting to see as to how that affects the recruiting process for some of the further athletes that are going to come behind him. But I think it's just the start, you know what I mean? And I'm excited to see what happens.
I do think I think what Maker did could be super impactful in terms of how the game is done moving forward for like black colleges, because these these institutions, like a lot of times most of the people, and I've ran into that before, like I've met people going to HBCU. I've met people that they're friends with the guy that is one of the top basketball players that goes to one of these big popular Division I schools. All it takes is a small group of these players, which all predominantly are pretty much going to go to school where their friends go to school at instead. In some cases, they'll be able to actually play for a school that's a HBCU, which brings more attention to the school. It pretty much brings more attention, which means more money. And on top of it, I think it'll make schools within the MEAC actually, like other MEAC schools actually will have to compete, because the MEAC is pretty much like I think it's like the Mid-Atlantic East or Middle Mid Eastern Atlantic Conference or some shit like that, and it's primarily just built up on HBCUs. So to see where it's going to go is going to be interesting. I think a lot of your big colleges in the HBCU world will definitely reap benefits, and I think it'll end up being just like those tiers of Division I, Division II, so on and so forth. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if those Division I schools, like, I'm very curious to see what's going to happen in terms of money, like, because at the end of the day, the reality is this stuff comes down to money,
Right.
Yeah.
all in all. That's it. It comes down to money. And if you have three of your top five athletes in the country go to HBCU, what does that mean in terms of like the backing? Because a lot of HBCUs, I'm not gonna say a lot because there's like 107 in total, I believe. But out of some of the HBCUs, like they have contracts like Dell State, like the school I went to, DSU. They have deals with, like, I think Nike, I believe, or Adidas. I'm not sure. They have a sports deal, but they also have a deal with Apple.
Right.
So they have a deal where they're giving out for freshmen. Freshmen get iPads every year, a free iPad every year, a free iPad their freshman year or whatever. So with these big players coming there, that should attract money to the school. But I'm curious to see if the Division I schools will try to find a way to make it where it's not beneficial,
Right. Well,
just because of the money play.
Well, what I'm thinking is with the G League doing things like they're taking recruits, the NCAA, they're gonna have to start paying people because at the end of the day, like the way, especially for basketball, the way they get recruits, they're gonna have to be very, very observant of it as to how they do things in the future because people have options and they're not just gonna be moving the same way they were moving like shit last year. Because they have more options and the options are looking good for them and not so great for the NCAA.
Yep.
That's because the NCAA isn't paying their athletes, right? And that's why the whole G League thing might be coming, more to a float.
Yeah. Yep.
All right,
Yeah,
which is good. I support that.
Yeah.
I support that.
Yeah, man. I think everybody with good hearts support that move.
Right.
It sucks how they're exploiting these young college athletes, and then they couldn't even make fucking a dime on their own, and that's why they had to do underhanded, under the table, shit like, take money from agents or secretly get money from somewhere, because a lot of these fucking college athletes, they're down on their dick and they can't afford shit, but they're expected to be playing and selling out fucking stadiums and arenas and shit, but they can't even make a dime like that. I'm glad for things like the G League.
Well, I mean, like if you're talking about arenas and shit like that, you heard about what's going on at FedEx Field. Apparently, the Washington Redskins will soon no longer be known as the Washington Redskins, and thank God for that.
Yeah,
that shit sounds crazy.
Yes, sir. It's as a proud Washington, whatever the new name, fan, it's time. It's time. They should have done it a couple years ago when it was starting to become the talk of the town. But it's time, man. It's so time. Just imagine, Nigel, the Baltimore Black Skins or the Pittsburgh Yellow Skins or the Arizona Brown Skins. Nobody would be fucking with that at all. Right?
No, not at all.
Exactly. So it's time. Now, it's funny how, once the $620 billion worth of investors was like, hey, look, we're going to pull your shit. Dan Snyder, finally, was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and change the name. It's funny how when Nike was like, well, hey, just remove all the Redskins shit off the website. Dan Snyder was like, oh, well, I think we should change the name, guys. You know what I mean?
The money, man.
Exactly. And that's why those investors did what they did, because they're like, look, man, if you're not changing, know what, Dan? It's cool. You don't got to change the
name. You ain't got to do shit, man. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it, man. We've been talking, and we think we're going to go ahead and put our money elsewhere. And, of course, anybody that has at least half-size brain Oh, whoa. Hey, guys, we're gonna get a board meeting together. We're gonna go ahead and change the name. That-
It money is like they say money is the most universal language amongst anybody, bro. Like once you say something, once you realize it's financially impactful to somebody, oh, all of a sudden, oh, don't even worry about that, man. We got that. We were gonna, man. Listen, we were already thinking about talking about this shit.
what a shame on the organization that I'm a fan of. What a big shame, and it's time for that name change. Now, whatever the name is going to be, whatever, but the name it has to go. It should have been gone a couple of years ago, to be honest with you. So
Yeah, I forget what that player was, but it was who was it on ESPN that did the shirt thing where it was like the Cleveland Caucasians or something like that. You know what shirt I'm talking about, right?
Nah, that sounds crazy. That's funny though.
Some guy, I think he was an ex-athlete. He had went on ESPN, I believe, and he had wore a shirt on one of the shows that it looked like the Cleveland baseball team.
yeah,
But what it had instead, it was a white guy, and it looked like a Richie Rich symbol, the Richie Rich cartoon, and it said like Caucasians. And apparently people were in an uproar about it. And he was like, well, it was around the same time when they were talking about this whole Redskins thing years ago. And they said, well, that's the issue. Like, that's it. The reality is that's how equal it is to anything else. Like, to the Redskins, that's the equivalent. The equivalent to the Redskins would be having a baseball team called the Caucasians.
yeah.
And people didn't like it. And I guess it got swept under the broom, and now it's resurfaced.
I mean, Cleveland's baseball team, if I'm not mistaken, is literally called the Cleveland Indians, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Some shit needs to change.
Who knows? Who knows? I'm very curious to see what happened down the line.
Right. Well, yeah, we'll see because they've brought up some other names of other teams as well, and we're gonna see as to how that really affects a lot of people and whatnot down the line, like you said.
Jerry Jones is going to die. Jerry Jones is going to be in tears if they ever find out that someone's like, oh, well, we started looking up the history of Cowboys.
Oh God.
Yo, he would be saying, yo, for real, Jerry Jones, he'd be on the front line to battle that shit 100%.
Facts.
Man, I think he's the only owner in the fucking game that he's not only the owner, he's the fucking president, he's the GM. Like, you're not picking no fucking players without him knowing about it at all.
Yo, it shouldn't be able to be like that. It's just kind of crazy, for real.
I mean, but at the same time, because of that, the Cowboys are like the richest team.
Yeah, they're most valuable team in American sports right now.
I think they're valued at like $4 billion. This was like years ago, like 4 or 5 years ago, they were valued at like $4 billion, I believe. Because Jerry Jones, even like when you buy like memorabilia, Cowboys memorabilia, that's typically you could go buy that type of stuff of any sports store. With Cowboys stuff, it's their own. They have their own individual licensing, I believe.
That's
so like,
crazy.
yeah, like so he owns everything. He owns everything that has to do with the Cowboys. That's why he wasn't out there at first. So,
man, that shit's crazy, man. But
yeah, it's just as crazy. Well, go ahead.
No, go ahead, bro.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that to me is just as crazy as like, and we haven't we've kept our silence on for a while, but this doofus Terry Crews, like,
God.
Yeah, I gotta hear this whole story. I don't know what's going on.
All right, so over the past few weeks of the Black Lives Matter movement, and we can, talk further in the Terry Crews about other things he said as well, but he's essentially said, long story short, saying, hey, make sure you don't forget about the white side of this. Make sure that black supremacy make sure that Black Lives Matter doesn't become black supremacy, and make sure that, essentially we are still fighting the fight for everybody, essentially saying all lives matter and kind of putting down the Black Lives Matter movement.
which is fucking ridiculous.
It's weird.
It's weird, but see, at the same time with Terry Crews, I also, just from other things I've heard about him, it's not too surprising. he doesn't have a backbone to some degree when it comes to stuff like this. Personally, I think a lot of things for him when it comes to make his decision making on his politics and his views, a lot of times are related to his his finances. Or I don't know if someone in Hollywood just has something over him that he does not want to get out. He's like a baby elephant for some reason. Like no matter how, even as a baby elephant is fucking more powerful than a human is, right? But it still doesn't understand it, so it just goes, it coincides with whatever you want what the baby elephant to do. That's exactly what the fuck he is, and I don't really know how to put it any other way. I don't know, man. He's a nut. He's a nut. I'll leave it at that. He's a nut. He's a nut ass. He's a nut.
Well, it could be the case because when it comes to the America's Got Talent situation with Gabrielle Union, she says, "Hey, I've been seeing racism on the back end of the production," and he's saying, "Hey, like I have no idea what she's talking about." Da 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 da. And it seems like it seems like she has actual stakes to her claim, and because me personally, I can't see Gabrielle Union going against like Viacom essentially and NBC saying without any type of evidence as to what she's claiming to be true happening. So it just seems kind of weird that he, isn't at least saying, "Hey, I would be shocked. I can't believe that." Da 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 da. He's just outright saying like, "Nah, it can't be true. I have no idea what she's talking about." You know what I mean? It just seems weird.
Oh, he hit motherfuckers with the, "Oh, I don't even know who Gabby is. Hey, yo, I'm looking for Gabby. I don't even know who that is, man." That's exactly what that is. He's like, "Oh, I don't know her. That's her business."
It's weird though, man. It's like when it comes to these issues about race, like I don't think. I mean, obviously there are going to be some people who have like an extreme stance on it, but it's like the main goal of this movement is saying, "Hey, we just want to be treated equally." It's like you don't have to kind of dial it down and be like, "Hey, bring it back a little bit." Like we don't need to be treated, that great. Just make sure it's just kind of great.
It really grinds my gears.
Go ahead, Lylan, give her.
Yeah, I was trying to digest it more instead of just being like I'm outraged or anything like that. Not saying that you guys are, but it's just like I don't really know what he means by black supremacy because we're not going around the streets talking about, hang up white people or, cancel white people culture or whatever white people culture would be. So I don't know what he means by that. But I could definitely see where he's just like, don't vilify all white people, if that's what he's trying to say. Obviously not every white person is a racist. But I mean, there are some situations where, celebrities do happen to try to talk about the injustice of black people or seem like they know what they're talking about during even like this coronavirus stuff. And sometimes they'll put out some dumbass, posting that would seem relatable, maybe against other rich folks that they are accustomed to seeing. But like us middle class, lower class people, we see shit like this. And, we're just like, what do you mean by this, dude? It's just like, do you see what we see every day? Or do you see what our friends tell us that they see every day? It's like you make a lot of money, so I can't necessarily understand what you mean by saying like let's not turn this to black supremacy. But like I said, I was trying to digest it more, so I'm still thinking about what he means by that. But I don't want to call him a stupid idiot or anything like that. But
he's a fucking idiot because to me when I hear the term black supremacy, right, it's pretty much taking on everything that. And to me, it sounds like someone's trying to say it's going to embody everything that white supremacy is, right?
Exactly.
And I don't agree with that because, like Nigel said, like we're not like this movement, this cause, what people are fighting for right now is just to be treated fairly. That's it. Like I'm not saying, hey. Oh, well, no, what you should do, you should go give us all your jobs and everything like that. Y'all could go work. Y'all could go to the hoods and we'll just take over your jobs and give me your keys to your house. No, it's saying, yo, give me an equal playing field. Treat me civil when I'm walking down the street. Don't make me I shouldn't feel like I'm being hunted, or I shouldn't feel nervous when I see a cop car come past me, because even though I know I didn't do anything wrong, I also understand the skin that I'm in, the country that I walk in, right? But like and I get to some extent, I understand it, and I say that I get it to some extent because a lot of times what history has shown us is the oppressed ends up becoming the oppressor, right? History has often shown the person that's oppressed, they revolt, they win, they stake their claim in the position in which the oppressor once was. Now they can oppress the once oppressor. But in this situation, that to me, that's the closest thing I can get to like black supremacy. That's the closest thing I get to black supremacy. But in the same regard, this is just a situation. Like he's someone that he walks on this tightrope, like I said, because he wants money. That's it. Like he thinks, and I understand you want to be in a PC. You live in somewhat of a PC bubble because you want to protect your money. But at some point, there becomes a thing of morals and humanity, right? Mm-hmm. And to me, and I guess maybe why I'm worked up about what Terry Crews is doing, because I've seen this for the past couple of weeks, where he's made different comments spanning throughout the whole year, pretty much, or even when he had like he got big and bad on somebody. I think it was DL Hughley he got big on, but because DL Hughley said, like, you let a man grab your penis in front of your wife and didn't do anything, you're not a real man, or whatever, right? Or challenging his manhood, the fact that he wouldn't defend himself because he was afraid of responding, because Terry Crews is one of the first guys that was in this Me Too movement.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, yeah, I was at a party. The guy grabbed my dick in front of my wife, and I didn't do anything because I was afraid of the money. Like, and I'm not going to say, and granted, I understand that, but I think those situations in itself has pushed him to let us know where he stands when it comes to going against or standing up for yourself. And the barrier that can be held because of money. And I think that's a lot of what it is. Like for him, that's why when he says stuff to me, he sounds like an idiot, because what you're telling me is because of the money is why you're scared to say anything. And don't get me wrong, if he was just coming in, I understand it, but you got young actors that are willing to risk their whole career who've barely made any money, just got in some notoriety. We've known about Terry Crews since next Friday, or Friday after next. Like, this nigga, if he don't have money, he's just bad at spending money. And if that's the case, he's going to be a slave to money at the end of the day. And I would have no problem saying this shit to him, because that's just the reality of it all. Like, I'm serious, because to me, I'm not academics, bro. I don't believe in running your mouth on the internet and not be willing to say something to someone in their face. That's how.
Of course not.
That's how I believe the world should work, right? Everybody doesn't believe that, but to me, in this situation with Terry Crews, it's a lot because he's afraid of jeopardizing the money, and I understand the culture that comes from that, because that's just I think it's somewhat of a survival technique for a lot of people that go into an industry where they're deemed a minority. But in the same breath, I just say to myself, you sound stupid, bro. Like, even if I feel as though if you don't have any good words to say about this, you shouldn't be saying anything at all. But the fact that you're willing to say some shit, it lets me know it's coming from a place of, oh, well, I got to make sure I speak up for the rest of us, just so they don't think that we all trying to terrorize people. Like, to me, that's all it comes across as. Like, I ain't gonna say too much, but I ain't gonna say too much, but I'm gonna just leave it at that. I'm gonna just leave it at that for right now. Like, that's why I just think with the whole Terry Crews thing, that's why shit is where it is with him, and people have mixed emotions about him right now.
Me personally, what he said, I don't see the even possibility of black supremacy being a thing, because we have to fight so hard just to be equal. It's like, how could you even think that we would even get to the point where we could become the oppressor? It's like they would kill us first. They'd
bomb America, fucking man. Like, everybody just be extinct at this point. If black people try to take over, they just bomb the whole fucking country. It'd be crazy.
Right.
It'd be crazy.
And that's the thing. That's the honest truth of it first. Like, do you think that they would just let us, like, without a serious fight, become the oppressor ever? Like, hell no. That shit would never happen. I think we need to become equal so we can move forward as a nation. That's what I do think needs to happen.
But see, people like that, though, I think people like that, they look at it as we're already equal. To me, like, when people say stuff like that, I think it's like Terry Crews. I think it's like, it's carrying the same notion of like, Why do you care about police brutality? How do Black Lives matter when Black people kill each other? But statistically speaking, that can be debunked at the end of the day, because if Black people,
Yeah.
if you live in an environment that looks like you, who are you going to commit crime against? More than likely, when you use the law of probability, you're more than likely going to attack the person that looks like you if they live in the same neighborhood as you.
I'll put it like this, right? Like, if we can talk about black on black crime, then I would love to see the conversation about white on white crime. But I feel like we should move on, because we could talk about this shit for like another hour.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
bro,
I'll put it like this. Well, speaking of like less eloquent people, right, or people that aren't as smart, did you know that Beavis and Butthead are rebooting, and surprisingly, Terry Crews is not in this. So,
Crazy.
Butthead.
yeah, I'm very interested to see. I'll probably actually watch it. I don't know, it's not really something really major to really talk about.
Is it gonna be on
but
MTV? I'm guessing.
I don't
It's
know.
probably
HBO
I
so.
was about to say, because HBO Max is out here just
fucking
picking up all types of cartoons. Adventure Time.
They have everything, man.
Really.
Yeah.
Who are they? HBO? That's Viacom.
I would like to say it's just HBO, and maybe they might be like partnered with Warner Brothers at this point in time, because I know they have some Cartoon Network stuff, Adult Swim stuff, DC stuff. So it looks like they have some type of DC or Warner Brothers, I should say, Time Warner partnership.
But isn't Time Warner owned by somebody too? I know Time Warner is just by itself.
As far as I know, Time Warner is Time Warner.
It's owned by
It's owned. It's owned. HBO is owned by Warner Media
Boom.
Entertainment.
There you go.
But it's also owned, which is also known as HBO or Home Box Office Inc. So,
I mean, I'm excited for it. I wouldn't say I'm nervous as well, but I was like, what new approach are you going to do for this show? Because now we're living in a world, and not that Beavis and Butthead was ever super immature or super, inappropriate. So it's just like, what type of Beavis and Butthead are we going to get? Because they rebooted, back in the day, Powerpuff Girls, this, that, and the other. I'm not sure if you ever watch Cartoon Network these days, but like these new cartoons are terrible, man. So for MTV to kind of put out a new show, it's like, all right, I'm excited to see what it is, but like, are we gonna not say the word? I wouldn't know necessarily what they say in Beavis and Butthead, that'd be censored, but like, what are they gonna keep out? Yeah,
everything.
Are we not gonna say
It's
bunghole?
just like
like what we doing?
I don't know.
Right?
Nah, they gotta keep that shit in there. That was like some of the best shit they like. Honestly, it'd be dope if HBO actually picked up all of that shit. Beavis and Butthead, Celebrity Deathmatch.
Oh shit, yeah, they could bring that back. But didn't they bring that back before though? They could do it a third time. Fuck it.
They probably could. It's just timing sometimes.
Yeah.
Daria, or what was it?
Daria.
People would love that.
It seems to be in that nostalgia period right now.
Yeah, and also you guys probably never watched it, but Reno 911.
Oh, I watched it.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
You know they rebooted that show, right?
So what is it on now? It's not on Comedy Central anymore, right?
Nah, it's on I found it on YouTube. I think it's on some channel called like Quibbly or something like that.
Yeah, right.
It's random. Yeah, I've never heard that channel before, but apparently it's supposed to be on Quibbly now, which is weird because I watched the first episode. I watched the episode, part of an episode, and everybody looks alike still, except for like the black cop. Like, dude,
what's his name? Cedric Yarbrough or something like that.
Yeah, he was in
Boondocks.
I think he played Tom in the Boondocks. Yeah, he put on like hella weight, but other than that, like they literally have the whole cast, the whole original cast is back here for Reno 911. So.
Well, shit. Before we get in UFC 251, Gilroy, you wanna what do you got coming up for yourself?
I like working on music projects here and there with my friends or by myself. But I got a project I've been working on, probably going for about a year or so. It's called 3 to 5. I really hope to have it done, hopefully by the end of this month or beginning of next month. But I got some features on it. Working on getting one done with Mark Graham or Duff, which some of you might know him as. But got Lau, got Nigel. If I can probably get one more person, that'd be dope. But that'd also make it like the never-ending mixtape. That's what it feels like sometimes because I just keep putting on new tracks. But Spence, okay, yeah. I've wondered, but I was never sure. But definitely, I would like to get you on there then if you want to get on it.
Hey, great, man.
Or you could get the best rapper of Delaware, Jacob.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, let me hear his bars. You never know.
Yo, son, I barred niggas out for life. Understand? I kill cats. I'm awkward with a knife, silent like the K. Shot and knife.
Do you know when 3 to 5 is coming out, Gilroy?
Yeah. So projected, like I said, end of this month, beginning of next month. All right, I'm gonna head out of here. Before I get back on Najel's PlayStation 4, play this Last of Us 2. I heard you guys discuss
your social.
Oh shit. My Instagram is Gil GILBITW. Acronym for best in the world, because I am. And y'all not. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, guys.
Nah, talk your shit, man. Let your not saying.
But
Gillademics, man.
If you want to follow me on Facebook, it's just Gilroy Jack, but I ain't got no Twitter. I should make one if I'm trying to get out here and market myself. I'm real lazy with that shit. But yeah, once again, Instagram, Gil, best in the world, BITW. I'm on SoundCloud as Gilroy Jack, and my Bandcamp is probably Gilroy Jack, but I feel like I changed that to Jack Suave. But yeah, that's me. Peace out, guys.
See you later, man.
All right, see you, man. You take it easy. Good luck on your project too, man.
Yeah, if I get you on, I'm trying to put you on.
Yeah,
put you on,
bro. Listen. You going? No, you should just have a track with Gilroy featuring the Highly Advised podcast.
That works. It's like an hour song, just niggas talking. With the beat.
Talk that shit, man. Get them streams up, baby.
Yeah, boy. Well, good luck to you guys, man. I fuck with you guys.
Thanks, man.
All right.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me.
Until
next time.
All right, till next time, man.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Gilroy. You know, we've been fucking with the young legend for years now. You know what I mean? So definitely thank you for coming on for sure.
Wait to see Spence on the project. Just wait for it.
Yes, sir.
St. Kitch making his return.
So y'all want to do a quick rundown of this UFC card and then talk about, what the main event that is making news right now. So let's run through the card and then we can talk about that some more, right?
All
right. And quick talk about the card.
Oh, before we start, RIP Habib's father. I can't pronounce his first name. So I'm just going to say, his father, definitely RIP to him. And it's really sad that a lot of people are losing their lives during the pandemic.
All right. Yeah.
Rest in peace to him, man. RIP to him, and hopefully we'll have to, when we get a chance, we'll have to talk some more about what we think this means for Khabib. So
yeah, we'll probably have to get into that in another time. But definitely hope that he takes his time in the grieving process and all that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So let's get to these picks though, real quick.
All right, you want to run down the card, or you want me to get it?
You pull it up, man.
Amanda Ribas versus Paige Van Zandt.
Amanda Ribas.
I'm gonna just take Paige just on the luck shot.
I don't know much about Amanda, but she has beat some people that I thought were pretty good. She beat Mackenzie Dern. She beat let's see, I can't remember the other chick's name. Hold on, wait. Mackenzie Dern, Miranda Marcos. I like Mackenzie Dern personally. I think she's a little green in certain areas, but I think she's going to be somebody to look out for in the future. Next, after that, we got Jessica Andrade versus Rose Namajunas.
Rose
Namajunas. She's going to get that one back.
Yeah, like
easily.
The way she lost the first time, like I don't see that happening in any way or fashion the second time. All right, next we have Peter Yan versus Jose Aldo.
Man, so I know Piotr is the favorite, right? Because I think that's how you pronounce his first name, Piotr, whatever. But I think I'm going with Aldo, bro. I think I am. I have this feeling that that he's taking the weight cut super seriously this time. I mean, it's not that he didn't take it last time, but it's like 135, strangely enough, he's cutting the weight really well, and he's really fitting that weight class really well. I think he's gonna. I thought he beat Marlon Moraes when they fought. I think I think he's gonna beat Pietro, man, because Pietro. I mean, the only person that he beat that was notable was Faber, and Faber was coming out of retirement. You know what I mean? So
I don't know. I think Jose Aldo might not be able to hang in there with Piazza. I personally think that Jan should take it, but I wouldn't be surprised if Jose Aldo won either. I think that I just think that Jose Aldo's time is just catching up to him, me personally.
Yeah, I mean he's had one hell of a run over his career,
yeah,
and I think we talked about it before about like a lot of him losing to Connor actually like it kind of just collapsed a lot of his career. Like a lot of his career just went on the downside after that. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Peter, not Peter. I'm gonna go with I think I'm gonna still go with Aldo just because, but I think he's pretty much his career is on its last leg though.
Next, we have Max Holloway versus Alexander Volkanovski, which I think is probably one of the more interesting matchups on the card.
I'm choosing. I'm choosing Max Holloway, but I think it's going to be that's going to be a hard fight for Max to win. Not saying that, you know, that it's going to be like a super close split decision fight, but I think that if Max is not on his aim game, Volkanovski is going to sweep him again. And but I think Max, I think Max is going to be a little more aggressive this time because you watch the first fight, you've seen that the first 3 rounds, Max was kind of like he couldn't get his range right.
Right,
Volkanovski was taking his legs away and shit like that.
right.
But in the fourth or fifth rounds, you see Max was starting to step it up a little bit, but it was just a little too late because Volkanovski, he already implemented the game plan. He was already in the rhythm and everything. I think, Max, I think Max is going to pull it off this time, but I wouldn't be surprised if Volkanovski wins again.
Yeah, I think Holloway is going to take it personally. I think because Max Holloway was starting to get his groove and starting to really figure out what he had to do in order to avoid the game plan. Because I think at the same point in time, while Volkanovski had like the perfect game plan to win that fight, and it was like razor thin, I think all Max Holloway has to do is be a little better and be able to avoid the leg kicks a little more in my eyes, possibly come in with a little like counter game plan of his, in my opinion. And I think that fight is his. Like that fight, the first fight was close in the first place. So I just can't. I think it's possible Volkanovski wins, but I think this fight's going to be a good one. I don't think this might end up being fight of the night, in my opinion.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I've like looking at like based off everything you guys said, like you've kind of covered a lot of the points I was thinking of. Like I do think this could end up being a fight of the night. Max has to go back and change a little bit of his game plan to kind of like further his stride within this fight. But I'm gonna have to go with Max at the end of the day. But I think it could go. This could be a close fight. This could be a close fight that like is gonna be hard to look away from. So
Yeah, I'm excited for the fight for sure. It's going to be the fight where if the main event wasn't happening, this would have been the main event. Absolutely.
Uh,
easily.
Next, we got the main event, which, if everything goes well, will be Kamaru Usman versus Jorge Masvidal.
So, man, like I'm very excited to see the fight. I'm very happy that the UFC came together to get the deal done. Now, from what I'm reading, it's just they're just waiting for the COVID test to come back negative. Once that comes back negative, we got Usman versus Masvidal, the fight that everybody fucking wanted to see, and I think it's going to drive up the pay-per-view sales now, just off the strength of Masvidal's in there now, right? And it's kind of like a grudge match, and then now this is like a win-win for Masvidal, right? Because if he wins, it's gonna be like, damn, this thing came on short notice, and he beat
Yeah,
Usman. Not only he's the BMF champ, the motherfucker is now the actual welterweight champ, and it's gonna look great. But if he loses, it's gonna be like, well, he stepped in 1 week's notice to fight the best welterweight in the world. With that being said, even though I'm excited to see the fight, Usman's gonna win.
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree Usman's going to win. But even then, I think they'll use that as like oh, well, he had a short notice fight. I think Masvidal has been getting himself prepared for a fight anyway. Just because I know like there were rumors at one moment he might fight Conor. And I'm quite sure with Dana, Dana at this point especially, he's paying fighters to be ready in case something happens. So I think Masvidal is probably much better prepared than what we realized. We're just waiting for the test to come back.
Yeah.
But I got to go with Kamaru Usman just because like it's too much. I think it's just going to be too much for Masvidal, even in terms of getting ready and adjusting and kind of think of a game plan. Don't get me wrong, he's a bad dude and he can actually he knows how to throw his hands and shit like that and fight. But it's just going to be I think that actually might end up being fight of the night, to be honest with you.
Really?
Yeah, I think that might end up being. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if that's a fight that doesn't even go to the ground, really. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if that's a fight that's primarily going to be just because the same with like Kobe Covington and Usman, like both great wrestlers, but neither one wrestled or neither one grappled or anything that whole fight. It was just like a slugfest. And I think when it comes to Masvidal, because I think Masvidal and Usman almost got into it before anyway a couple times. Yeah. So it's already some bad blood there, and it's like you said, it's the fight that we've all been waiting for. So I think even Usman is probably hyped for this fight because he's probably like, oh, this is someone I've been wanting to shut up anyway.
So, me personally,
yes. Yep.
Me personally, I think that I think more or less the reason why Kamaru Usman and Kobe Covington stood up the entire fight was because their stand-up skills aren't too far from each other. I think Jorge Masvidal is much more dangerous on the feet, and I think that's going to prompt Kamaru Usman to take him down more and try and work him. Not only that, but I feel like that style is not good for Jorge Masvidal. So, in my opinion, I think that unless Kamaru Usman is dealing with something that we don't know about, I think he's going to try and just run his way through him, similar to the way he did Tyron Woodley.
Okay, yeah. I can see that.
So let's say that Masvidal had 8 weeks to train or whatever for the fight. I still think Usman would have won, right? Just off the strength, off the wrestling alone. Like right. Masvidal, he's on the feet, he's a much better striker than Usman. But but grappling wise, there's not a welterweight in that division. Maybe Gilbert Burns because they both came from the same camp. But outside of Gilbert Burns, there wasn't a welterweight that was gonna out grapple Kamaru Usman. And he's too strong too at that weight class. So nice. I feel like it would have been like what Damian Maia did to Jorge Masvidal. Maybe a lot worse because Usman has the finishing power. But with that being said though, it's going to be exciting, man. Because if Usman wins, cool. We'll still get the Gilbert Burns fight later in the year. But if Masvidal wins, boy, man, I just imagine the excitement. I could see like Conor coming out of his quote unquote retirement just to get that fight.
Oh yeah,
I can the amount of money and that would generate. They would make so much money that they wouldn't even need a live gate.
Yeah. Well, shit. I mean, are y'all ready to close this one out?
Yeah. Quick question, and we'll talk more about it later. Who you got end of the year in the rematch between Wilder versus Fury?
Ooh,
Fury.
Same here.
I think that if Fury's going to put him away, before the championship rounds again. I just don't think Wilder would have enough time, especially during the pandemic, to adjust his game.
Yeah, same here. I agree. I think Wilder still doesn't believe he lost the fight, so he still doesn't. He still doesn't accept blame for losing the fight. He still claims there was some outside factor that hindered him from winning the fight. So
yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah, so I gotta go with Fury also. We'll cover it more as like over time as time goes on, but
Yeah.
All
Oh,
right.
and final thing, and we'll definitely should talk about this, but Lomachenko's fight is being booked in September, and there's going to be a unification between him and Teofimo Lopez. That's a big fight because the winner of that more than likely is probably going to fight Devin Haney for all the belts.
oh, that's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, and and a lot of people are Lomachenko fans. So, but yeah, we'll get into it later.
Yeah. That's like a whole let's say that for the next podcast because that's a whole conversation I would love to talk about.
Yeah,
Right.
Definitely Devin Haney and then we got Garcia and all of that type
yeah,
of shit. So
yeah.
yeah, we'll say that for next week. So with that being said, I guess I'll close this out. All right, it's my turn.
You're good, yeah.
Yeah. So with that being said, you guys been highly advised. Make sure you guys follow us on Instagram at the highly advised at highly advised podcast. Check our Twitter, advise highly, and like we said, you've been highly advised. Make sure you leave a comment. Put a number one. Put a number one if you got to this point in the. Put a number one in our post that we'll have on Thursday. And let us know what you think.
Boom,
Yes,
boom, boom.
sir. Bonjour. Adios. Konnichiwa.